On Face the Nation tonight, we are discussing the fallout of the dastardly Naxal attack in Bastar and the killing of 24 people and the elimination of the entire top leadership of the State Congress of Chhattisgarh. We're going to be asking, what is the way forward now? Is Naxalism a challenge that the government, both at the central and the state level, simply cannot combat? Has Naxalism become a expression of those who are orphans of the global economy or of the Indian economy? Or is Naxalism in fact a manifestation of vested interests? Are these movements fueled by people in the establishment or vested interests who are funding them? So what is the nature of current Maoism today, and what is the way forward? Because when an attack like this happens, the temptation on the part of the government is to use overwhelming force, but is overwhelming force the answer, or may that create a civil war type situation in Bastar? Also, we're going to be looking at the strategy of the Congress. Until now, the strategy of the Congress has been to give political rights as well as development. Now, has that strategy worked? Has that strategy failed? What about the role of actually drawing the Adivasis into the democratic process? How is that working? We're also going to be looking at the Salva Judum movement that was started by Mahendra Karma, who was gunned down by the Maoists. So Salva Judum was a movement which I remember reporting on because I visited Bastar and met a number of families who were in fact targeted in the Salva Judum movement. The Salva Judum movement was a movement by which Adivasi youth were in fact given weapons and asked to take on the Maoists. What happened with the Salva Judum movement was that families were split down the middle, and villages were split down the middle, and communities were split down the middle. It wreaked havoc actually within those tribal societies, and I think that the rule of the Salva Judum was terrifying on the tribal communities of Bastar. And Mahendra Karma, the Congress leader who was gunned down, was someone who actually founded the Salva Judum. He started the Salva Judum, and obviously was the focus of a lot of rage because of this. So what is the way out of the cycle of violence? If you go to Bastar, as I've been, you just see complete lack of development. There's just nothing there. There are no schools, there's no development, there are no roads, and if you talk to school teachers in Raipur, I mean, they tell you things like, who's going to go all the way there? Why should we go there? They don't want to go and work in those areas. So it's a cycle of underdevelopment and violence. And we're also going to be looking in my program this evening on the challenge before the human rights activists, on the challenge before left intellectuals, who have always said that Maoism is a social and economic problem. Maoism is the result of the kind of development policies that the government is pursuing. Maoism is the result of being left out of the economy. But are these left intellectuals or human rights activists romanticizing the Maoist movement? Are they misunderstanding the Maoist movement? Are they apologists for the Maoist movement? Someone like a Binayak Sen, does he not adequately condemn the Maoist movement as violent and as savage? Are there always explanations and justifications found for Maoist violence? And should human rights activists and left liberal activists condemn Maoist violence much more? So we're going to be looking at all these issues.